massively unprepared from the outside. He, yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, it kind of was. Turning into a, getting shorter. Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. Wow, now I'm like... Okay, so yeah, Will is a weird kid. He has trouble making friends. His mom is constantly worried about him. She's freaking out all the time. And what does Will do? He starts skateboarding. He meets a kid. He's a young Aboriginal kid named Jonah. And Jonah is like the coolest thing that Will has ever imagined. And Jonah skates. And so they start skateboarding together. And they also start looking for this missing kid whose name is Marcus. And skateboarding kind of drags them into the underbelly of Thunder Bay. Thanks. Turning into the Godfather up here. So because of where we are, I thought I'd read like a skateboard passage because normally people don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I read those passages, but then also it's just, maybe you guys will appreciate it. I gotta say that teaching, like, because my book was edited by an editor in New York as well, and this, like, teaching this fancy New York editor guy skate lingo, and he called me and he texted me and was like, dude, I was outside and I saw a guy do a kickflip and I knew what it was. It was really gratifying. Okay, so this is, Will has snuck out with Jonah and they're outside at night and they're looking for Marcus. Jonah clattered his skateboard to the ground and hopped upon it, all regal grace and fluidity, zipping ahead under the propulsion of his left leg. He rolled through a temple of yellow streetlight, his hands open and searching, as though feeling the pavement's texture as it passed. Then he crouched, frozen like a cat stalking a robin, before cracking the rear of the board down, rocketing himself upward with the apparatus clinging impossibly to his feet like a burr. After this, the silence of flight, but for the sibilance of wheels spinning, then a growling return to the asphalt and his lackadaisical ride away. This tidy morsel of magic that Jonah had performed seemed almost another trap to test Will's gullibility, another shaken pop can or a match bomb, but Will couldn't resist. What was that? He said reverently when Jonah button-hooked back. What? Said Jonah. What you just did. That? It's called an ollie. But how do you make it jump like that? I don't really know, he said, smoothing back his bangs. Will wondered if his brothers cut his hair like that, or if he did it himself. It just works. I taught myself by reading Thrasher and watching Marcus. You jump and slide your front foot up and it just happens. I don't even understand it. It's better that way. Do it again. As Jonah cracked off a series of identically lofty hops over manholes and storm drains, equal measures of recognition and rapture struck Will like sheet lightning. It was an act of such miraculousness that Will felt unworthy of it. Every dance performance and action movie and art project he'd ever known seemed to be contained in this one gesture, this ollie. Will's legs itched to try, but somehow he understood the sacrilege of asking for a turn on Jonah's board. Plus, he had to take it easy on his heart. How long have you been doing that? Will asked. A few years. My brother pitched in and bought me a board. Believe me, I'm not that good. Looks like you were born on it. Jonah let go a rare laugh. His teeth were crooked, cool crooked. My brothers were always shoulder-checking me, tripping me down, shoving snow in my face. You get good at staying on your feet. Then, as though to contradict him, a grinding sounded from beneath him, and Jonah was hurled to the half-frozen pavement with a naked thwack of palm and hip. Jonah, Will said, rushing to his side. Can you hear me? Are you okay? Do you want an ambulance? I'm fine, Will. Jonah said, through pain-gritted teeth while rolling over, then lifting himself incredibly into a sitting position on the ground. He kicked away the small pink stone that had thwarted his wheel. "Don't get up," cautioned Will. "You may have a spinal or a concussion." "Chill out," Jonah said, laughing, as Will was casting about for a phone booth. Will fell silent as Jonah rose and they resumed walking, quietly loathing his mother and the Black Lagoon for so thoroughly screwing his understanding of what constituted a catastrophe. So yeah, what else can I tell you about the book? The book is also, like, it's sort of, I had this note over my desk when I was writing it, and it was the immovable object versus the irresistible force. And I imagine Diane as this object that just would not move, this person who is stuck in not only a rut, but who is trapped, in a sense, mentally and sort of physically. And then this force, this boy that I see now in my son, this like crazy, daring, like, I want to go jump off the bridge into the water, I've got this feeling that is so much a big part of, not only boys, but girls have it too. I mean, I think all children have this desire for independence and this desire to push outside the safety of the home and of the family and to get out there and to hurt themselves. And so that is the sort of the essence of this book, is that contradiction between those two forces. So I'm really not going to, I'm just going to read one more section, and then maybe we can do a little bit of Q&A from the audience. Okay. Hold on. This is another skateboard section. I get to read these skateboard sections. We just have to do it. It's too good. Okay, sorry. So Will starts skateboarding and he's terrible at it, and then this is sort of as he's just learning to do stuff. Before long, spring leapt into summer, liberating the boys from school, and after months of daily flagellation, skateboarding grew kinder to Will. Though the pavement still regularly hurtled upwards for reasons he couldn't decode, he was inching toward stability. He could roll without tenseness in his legs, without winging his arms in big, hysteric circles. In the convection of July, a heat that reminded Will of when he once pointed a blow dryer at his face for as long as he could stand, Will and Jonah patrolled the neighborhood, half searching for Marcus, half not wanting to go home. They memorized every street, parking lot, staircase, curb, storm drain, fire hydrant, and sidewalk square in Grandview Gardens and County Park. They scoured the backyards along the creek for empty swimming pools, like in Thrasher, but those they found were squared with no transition, just abrupt walls lining a deep pit. It was another example of California's overwhelming superiority. They had the sense to properly construct a swimming pool. At first, Will was distraught when the pumpkin-head design on his board became scratched. He'd seen advertisements for plastic guards that protected the precious graphics and was preparing to order them when Jonah told him, "You don't need any of that stuff." "But I'll lose the picture," said Will. "That's what it's for," Jonah said. "For what?" "Getting ruined." Nightly, Will drew himself hot baths in Venice to ease his tenderized muscles. By now, his skin, especially at the apexes, was crammed with scabs, welts, rainbows of bruises, and the cursive of scars, like collages made from the pages of Jonah's medical textbooks. Beneath these floated tiny chips of bone that prickled in his flesh. I'm going to leave it there.